to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Miller, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful evening. Thank you for our city, the many attributes we have going for us that are in it. We pray that you would only bless those in the years to come. Help us to be a part of that blessing. And we humbly come before you praying for the good of our city, the good of its residents, and the good of generations to come after us. May we make it a better place and make it a place in the here and now where people would want to come and live. Help us to make good and right decisions tonight that are honoring to you and to the residents we serve. Help us to always remember that this is not about us. It's about the people who we serve. Help us to do that job carefully, thoughtfully, prayerfully. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, City Clerk.
Commissioner Burr.
Present.
Commissioner Boring.
Here.
Commissioner Wiki.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Abs.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mullins.
I'm present.
Mayor Perez.
Here. Okay, moving on with the agenda under proclamations and presentations tonight, we have Sturgis Neighborhood Program Update. Ms. Catherine Myers,
Thank you.
welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. My name is Catherine Myers, Executive Director for Sturgis Neighborhood Program. First, I'd like to thank the Commission for the opportunity to provide an update on the work of Sturgis Neighborhood Program. On behalf of our Board of Directors, volunteers, and the families we serve, I'd also like to extend our sincere appreciation to the City Commission, City staff, our City Manager, the United Way, and the Sturgis Area Community Foundation for our continued partnership and support. The work we're able to accomplish is truly a community effort, and we couldn't do it without your collaborative investment. Our mission continues to focus on providing safe, adequate housing opportunities within the city of Sturgis through quality housing rehabilitation, neighborhood revitalization, and community partnerships. Over the past year, we've continued making progress not only through our housing initiatives, but also by expanding programs that improve quality of life throughout our neighborhoods. One of those initiatives is our neighbor-to-neighbor community impact programs. We continued our household disposal day this past year, and it was our most successful event to date. We served approximately 80 households during our most recent event. Community participation exceeded our expectations. We completely filled 3 40-yard dumpsters, and we had to ultimately request a 4th dumpster to accommodate the demand. During that single event, we disposed of more than 30 mattresses and box springs alone. Since launching this initiative in October 2024, we removed more than 4,840 cubic yards of household waste from the Sturgis community while serving nearly 250 households at no cost to participating homeowners and residents. Based on the continued need and positive community response, we'd love the opportunity to partner with the city again to host another household disposal day in fall 2026. We continued our Home Pride Partnership or paint program. Last year, 12 households each received 10 gallons of exterior paint to help improve the appearance and longevity of their homes. Interest remains strong, and we've already received 7 applications for the 2026 season. Another exciting addition this year is our neighbor-to-neighbor home improvement program. Through a $72,000 MSHDA My Neighborhood 2.0 grant, we're assisting income-qualified homeowners with much-needed home repairs. The application window is now closed, and we received 5 eligible applications. Those projects have been prioritized through a blind lottery drawing and are currently being reviewed and bid by licensed contractors. The work is scheduled to be completed by January 30th, 2027. We also launched our Snow Removal Coalition during this past winter season. This initiative connects homeowners who need assistance clearing sidewalks with volunteers who are willing and able to help. During its first season, we served 4 households, including 1 repeat customer request, and coordinated 4 volunteers, 2 of whom were youth volunteers. We're excited to continue building this program and expanding its impact during the 2026-27 winter season. Another recent coalition effort was coordinating volunteers to assist neighbors with cleanup after the June storms. Our Teaming Up with the Trades program continues to be one of the cornerstone initiatives of Sturgis Neighborhood Program. Through the support of the City of Sturgis, the Sturgis Area Community Foundation, and the St. Joseph County ISD, we welcomed 40 high school juniors and seniors from Sturgis, Centerville, White Pigeon, and Colon during the 2025-26 school year. Together, these students had the unique opportunity to build an entire home from the ground up in a single school year. Throughout the project, we partnered with 15 construction trades companies, 12 of which were local businesses. At least 9 of those contractors are former construction trades students who now own or work for local construction companies. That full circle story is exactly what this program is designed to accomplish, developing the next generation of skilled trades professionals while creating quality, affordable housing for our community. I'm pleased to report we have executed a purchase agreement for the sale of this home. Title work is currently underway, and we anticipate closing in the coming weeks. Looking ahead, we're excited to begin our 2026-27 construction trades project. We're currently in the process, with support from Andrew and the city attorney, for completing the purchase of 604 North Prospect Street in accordance with the purchase option agreement executed between the City of Sturgis and Sturgis Neighborhood Program on April 10th, 2025. This approximately 1,200 square foot home will provide another much needed affordable home ownership opportunity while continuing to serve as a hands-on educational experience for students exploring careers in the construction trades. We're especially excited about building in the North Prospect neighborhood. By constructing a quality new home within one of Sturgis's older residential developments, we're not only expanding our inventory of quality housing, but also making a long-term investment in neighborhood revitalization. New infill construction strengthens the surrounding neighborhood, complements the existing housing stock, and demonstrates that our established neighborhoods continue to be desirable places to live, invest, and raise a family. Similar to other infill construction, we believe that this project will serve as a catalyst for continued investment in the North Prospect area while addressing the community's ongoing need for safe, quality, affordable housing. As we have in previous years, we'll continue prioritizing partnerships with local contractors whenever practical and financially responsible, strengthening connections between local employers and our future workforce while investing directly back into our local economy. As we look ahead, we're excited about the opportunities before us, whether it's revitalizing homes, building new affordable housing, supporting homeowners through our neighbor-to-neighbor initiatives, or investing in the next generation of skilled trades professionals. We're committed to continuing this important work for the benefit of our community. I'd like to close by once again thanking the City Commission, city staff, our city manager, the United Way, the Sturgis Area Community Foundation, our funding partners, contractors, volunteers, and community supporters for believing in our mission and making this work possible. Your continued partnership allows us to create lasting improvements in neighborhoods throughout Sturgis, and we're grateful for the opportunity to serve this community together. Thank you again for your continued support. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Catherine? Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you as a partner.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the visitor section. If there's a visitor who'd like to make a public comment for items not listed on the agenda, please feel free to come to the podium. State your name and address, and you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Dan Dumont, Tulip Drive. I would like to know what the city could do about keeping cars, trucks, motorcycles, four-wheelers out of Thurston Woods Park all hours of the day and night. Whether it be a fence or some other type of barrier. It's clearly marked on both sides of the entrance on Cedar, authorized vehicles only. Well, the vehicles I see going in there at 10:30 at night, I don't think are authorized vehicles.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure the local PD would like to see some sort of a deterrent to keep people out of there so they're not called out every time, we see somebody in there. So,
Andrew, you follow up on that?
I mean, I can look into alternatives. I would say one of the biggest things is if you do see somebody in there,
Yeah.
please contact the police department
yeah.
so that
Well,
we can go.
we
and
do
address it
normally. I
with
mean,
them.
we're
Yeah.
there,
Okay.
but
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, but yeah, I know we have some areas where there's bollards. Obviously, that's a big open space where if people are not necessarily paying attention to the pavement, they can probably get in. But
Yeah.
it's something we can look into a little bit more.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're seeing cars and motorcycles out there?
Oh, yeah. Cars, trucks, motorcycles,
Trucks.
four-wheelers, you name it. They're in and out of there all hours of the day and night.
Okay.
So. And it's not only that, it's, there people go in there late at night and you can hear them screaming and hollering at each other, fighting, that kind of thing. So, something to keep the public out of there when they're not supposed to be in
All
there.
right.
So, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, before we move on to the approval of the agenda, I'd like to add, city manager's asking to add section D under new business for the airport fuel discount. You guys want to take a note of that? Their, city staff placed the information on our, desk, before you guys got here. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on with the approval of the agenda.
I moved as amended.
Okay. So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next on the agenda is unfinished business, and we have none, so we'll move in right into new business, starting with the generation resource purchase contract. Tyler Stark. Welcome tonight, Tyler.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm kind of here as a technical backup, but Chris will be speaking in on most of this generation talk, but kind of turn things over to him, and if all goes well, you won't hear much of me.
Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. We've been working on this project, as you know, for a couple of years. And included in the fiscal year 27 capital budget is the addition of generation resources in the amount of $13 million. This project, as we've discussed, consists of the addition of 3 RICE or reciprocating engines with a total output of 7.5 megawatts. These units will utilize natural gas as the fuel for operation. And staff has chosen Fawn River substation for the location due to the proximity of the high pressure gas line of that substation. Staff has secured a renewable operating permit through Eagle for the operation of these potential units. The commission did approve a letter of intent with McAllister Cat, the Michigan-based cat dealer for this project at the March 25th commission meeting. Staff, our consultant, and the city attorney have finalized the engineering, procurement, and construction contract with CAT for the project, which is included in your packet. This contract is required to move forward with the procurement of the engines and equipment needed to complete the project. Staff also worked with Michigan Public Power Agency to run evaluation of the project to show its value to the city. This has come out very favorable with early numbers showing a net present value to the city of 2.5 million per year, which is made up through capacity offsets or revenue. Ultimately, we'd have to get that capacity somewhere, but these engines would provide that value to the city. The savings in transmission cost and operation of the unit in the real-time energy markets. The electric department, along with MPPA staff, did present those results at the commission meeting on May 27th. Staff anticipates the final step in the process, the actual ordering of the equipment and moving forward with the project will be the approval of this final contract. Future agreements to be brought to the commission will include the operations and maintenance agreement, a long-term service agreement, along with a monitoring and dispatch agreement. All these costs were included in the valuation and will be budgeted in the fiscal year 2028 operations and maintenance budget. As part of the approval of the EPC contract, staff is recommending a 5% contingency for the project at $539,250. So I would entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Chris?
I think we covered it pretty good.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve the agreement for engineering, procurement, and construction of a natural gas fueled generator set with McAllister Cat in the amount of $10,785,000 as presented.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission approve a contingency budget for the natural gas fueled generator project of $539,250.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Tyler. Chris?
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the DWSRF street commit resolution. Patrick Manderson. Welcome tonight, Patrick.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Tonight I'm presenting the DWSRF Street Commitment Resolution. Back in February, the Commission approved to do the DWSRF project with Fishback. That was moving forward. We submitted the paperwork in April. Since then, they kicked back the application of 5 points in section 4B. 4B is a dig once. Essentially, with the project itself, we are replacing or doing the lead line replacements for those roads. What dig once is the commitment for the city of Sturgis to then redo the surfacing of those roads. So that's why they call it dig once. The resolution is for 5 points. We are currently sitting at 29. So all points that we can present to Eagle helps us out, get this project kicked off. So essentially, this resolution is to promise that we are going to redo those roads after replacing the lead lines.
Any questions for Patrick?
Is that repair or total resurface of the road?
It's going to be mill and resurface.
So what we were intending to do anyway with the lead service lines, basically, when we submit for DWSRF, whether you're awarded or not is based on scoring criteria. So we do our application, or I should say Fishback goes through and says, we think you're going to qualify for these points, these points, these points, submits all that to Eagle. They do a preliminary round and say, we think you only qualified for these points. And they give us a period in which to, I guess, argue our case or try and provide additional justification and qualify for those points. because we were always intending to do the streets after we did the lead service lines, or at least those portions of the streets with mill and resurface. Had put down that we would qualify for this dig once. They wanted something more concrete in terms of evidence that that was the case. So this resolution is being presented as that evidence. Basically, we're saying, yes, we will do the roads after we do the lead service lines, so that we don't have to come back and do it twice.
Okay.
That's kind of the,
Makes sense.
that's the genesis.
Any questions?
Yes, so are there any requirements as far as how many services have to be on a road to be, I mean, if you only have two, are we repaving the whole road?
We would be redoing the segments of the streets where we did lead service lines, and to the extent that we would sync up with other portions of that road that needed to be done. So if the segment was big enough, you know, we may do an entire stretch of the road. That would be a little bit of the interplay between doing lead service lines and doing roads in that area. You know, the roads in this neighborhood, this section of town, all need some type of treatment that we've evaluated going forward. But the critical thing for the DWSRF would be the roads where the lead service lines were done. So making sure we're redoing the street in that area.
Do we have any kind of an estimate as far as how many roads we might be thinking of, how many services you're going to do and how many roads that would affect?
Yep. So it's 477 lines that we're going to be replacing, which I believe is about 31.2% of the city's service lines, which is really good for us because we have 10 years in order to do all of them anyways. So with that being said,
Yeah, we looked at the roads
14
that it
roads.
was impacting. Do you have the map up that was in the packet? Was there a map?
Yeah, that
in the
map was
packet?
in our.
yeah, it's in the, yeah, it's in
That's
the, right there. Perfect.
So this is
Not
the,
good
this
map,
is
but
the
it's there.
segment area. There's a number of roads, east, west, and north, south, that I think we kind of walk through. Patrick, I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
I
those
have.
listed down.
Yep.
You
East
want to
Lafayette.
talk through those?
Yep. East Lafayette, East Main, East Hatch, North Monroe, North Maple, North Fourth, North Prospect, Center, Jean, Center Court, Susan Ave, Sturgis, and George.
So again, the budget that we have in streets for those years would be highly concentrated in this area, along with the lead service line work.
Which, if I can recall, those roads kind of need to be mill and repaved.
Say again?
They need to be done
Sure.
anyway.
Did you say it was a 10-year period?
We have a
Or-
10-year period to do all the
All
lead
the
service
lead
lines
based.
in town.
Yeah.
Okay.
to
This
get all-
project,
Yeah.
This project, we've put in the budget for it to go 2 years. So
Okay.
it would be, this segment would be a 2-year stretch.
Okay.
So
What's a 10-year expire?
2032, I believe, is my recollection.
It's either 31 or 32.
Yeah, I think it's 32.
Barry?
Was it that?
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say
wait.
it's longer, later than that.
What was I thinking?
I was thinking 32.
Sorry, you
too,
threw
so-
me off.
No.
26 plus 10 would be 36.
Thank you, Barry.
So we're mathing. We're mathing.
Yeah,
We're not talking about the state mandated.
Yes.
We are talking.
Yeah, we are
about
talking
the
about
state.
Statewide, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a statewide.
Okay, so it's 10 years remaining on what that state mandate was
I was thinking.
issued. Yes, okay.
So are we doing this by precincts to where once you do all 4, 2 times 4, it's 8 years, we'll be 2 years before
No,
the
we-
deadline?
So as of right now, we'll do, this project is specified for this area, which is 477 lead line replacements. Currently, the Department of DPS.
Services, yeah. Sorry.
DPS is replacing lead lines depending on what projects we actually have coming up. So, for example, 2027 streets, if we are milling and resurfacing X amount of streets, I am working with Tom to make sure that those streets get lead lines replaced before we mill and resurface those so that we don't have to tear up new roads. That's one of the programs, I guess, is moving forward. The other one is water leaks. If somebody has a water leak, they go and just replace it if it is lead line, and just kind of do it all from there. So we're kind of doing multiple motions of taking care of them as we can. And then, you know, trying to be smart about it as far as making sure lead lines are replaced if we're going to do a mill and resurface for, you know, the coming next years.
This is huge. We were all looking at the numbers to do it all ourselves, and this is huge.
Yeah, it is.
I'll also note that this, you know, it is a chunk, what you might think of as part of one precinct, but it was selected mainly because we are in a condensed area where we know there's a lot of lead service lines we can hit and also a lot of roads that we need to do. So it made for a good discrete project for the application. So, you know, you could obviously have spread it out a lot farther across different areas of town, but this provided a nice segmentation for the application.
This was contract.
This would be
with
contracted.
contracted,
Correct.
not our labor.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. It's through Fishback.
Huge.
Absolutely. No other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Sturgis City Commission adopt the resolution committing funding to the DWSRF LSLR project plan for lead service line replacements as presented.
So we have a motion
Second.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So move. Thank you,
Thank
Patrick.
you. Appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is the interim city manager agreement. Mr. Ken Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, when it comes to terms of the agreement, I would refer that to City Attorney and Mr. Terry, who's with us tonight. They worked on that and have come to mutual agreement on that. I can tell you that background check came back clear, and talked to a number of references. Nobody would go on record having any negative words about Mr. Terry. No, they were all very positive about Mr. Terry, the feedback. With that, like I said, City Attorney can comment on the contract itself.
Commissioner Miller?
So one thing I didn't see, TJ, in the agreement is addressing the discrepancy of dates in Andrew's mutual separation agreement and this
So start
temporary
date,
employment agreement.
start date is July 20th.
Right.
Right. So that
Does-
would be a week overlap. So it'd be the 20th through the 24th.
Okay,
There's no
there will be overlap.
Yeah.
Good.
And so,
Okay.
I mean, I will say that I've talked to Mr. Terry, I've talked to Andrew. We're currently going to schedule some time that the three of us can sit down and kind of get up to date. Andrew and I have regular meetings throughout the, you know, every month we'd meet kind of on projects ongoing in my office. And so we have talked. So if you notice page 2, section 3, the start date is the 20th. Andrew's last day is the 24th. And so that week there is some overlap. So
Okay.
hope that
I
answers
wanted
your
to make
question.
sure it was overlap,
Yeah.
and that's great. Fantastic.
So this agreement is a change from what Ken emailed us yesterday?
No, this is the
No,
same,
The same one.
as-
Okay, I just wanted to be
yes.
clear. Okay.
I just point out when we originally talked at the last meeting, there was some talk about whether it be an independent contractor, an employee.
Okay.
Mr. Terry, we had some conversation. Some potential problems with the independent contractor under the regulations of whether, as far as he works for the commission. And so he takes direction from the commission. Independent contractors generally don't take direction from a
yes.
commission. They're hired to do a job. So this kind of keeps that local control. Also, as a part of that, I think convenience for the employee on withholdings and other quarterly taxes. The hourly rate was adjusted up to $82 an hour as opposed to $80 an hour. There were some comparables that were provided from other areas with interim managers that were up to $90 an hour. And so this is lower than that. The only additional expense to the city roughly would be when you're hiring an employee, we utilize in the office roughly a 10% increase for the 7.65 Social Security, you know, our part of the federal tax as well as unemployment, just, you know, workers' comp, so those other benefits. So that rate would be a little bit higher to the city being an employee as opposed to an independent contractor. There was talk of amount of time to work. In discussing it with, the interim manager, he said, the time in which it takes to do the job. So we didn't put, I think everybody agreed at the last meeting that 24 hours seemed too low in talking to him. So this would be up to, the 40 hours. This is a regular scheduled work. Mileage is included. The city does have an option to provide one of our fleet vehicles, if the city so chooses. So that provision is in there. No, there are certain benefits such as this, workers' compensation, those things we have to provide, but all other benefits and no other fringe benefits, and that's spelled out in this. There is a cancellation provision, as you can see, in there. And once the city reaches determination on a permanent city manager, we can at that time negotiate at what point in time, what overlap the city wants, and then pick a date for cancellation or termination of this agreement as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
I don't see a motion in here. Is this,
Yeah, so the motion would be also to have the mayor execute and sign on behalf of the city after signed by Mr. Terry. So, but yeah, the motion would be to approve the temporary employment agreement for the interim city manager as presented.
any questions for TJ? Or Mr. Rhodes?
I do have one, in section 2, talked about, and you touched on a little bit about the interim city manager shall devote such time as is reasonably necessary to perform the assigned duties during the term of temporary employment. He will work at the pleasure of the commission. Does that mean that we should, from week to week or month to month, or at the front of things, say this is what's expected to work, say 30 hours, because on my math, if it's a 40-hour week job, it's $170,000 over 12 months, versus 25 hours a week, which is 110,000 approximately. How is that going to work?
So, from the last meeting, I took, and I could have been wrong on that the commission expected it to be essentially a full-time job to do it correctly. And so in this, the numbers I think you came up with are accurate, roughly $170,000+ a year, with no benefits. So I think this is
Still less.
Yeah. So ultimately, total comp package would still be less, arguably less than what you may be paying currently. However, the city can, if it wants to direct less hours, it could. I went off of the direction I thought I got from the commission. Maybe I'm mistaken on that, but I thought that the commission wanted essentially a full-time position to allow the interim city manager to do what needed to be done. And I think he expressed too that he understands what needs to be done and put the time in to do it. So.
And is it expressed? I didn't see it specifically about on-site for the number of hours worked.
He does not state on site, but it was included that he'll be driving to and from, and that the mileage in the city vehicle. So ultimately under this is at the direction of the commission. So if the commission is not happy and says, theoretically, you could say, we want you to hear more. So that could always be brought up at a later time. So no different than any other. You give the direction as to how you wish this to proceed.
Mr. Terry, is your intent to commute on a daily basis, but for extraordinary,
Yes.
but for
Please do so.
extraordinary times?
Well, as you know, the Office of City Manager requires to attend different meetings, the airport meeting, work with staff. If there's a problem that I need to be here, then I'm going to be here. Again, as I stated in my interview, that the office of the career of a city manager is just that. It's just not a career, it's a lifestyle. You're a city manager 24/7. Not that I'm going to be here 24/7, but I would hope that staff would call me at home on weekends if there's a water main break, things like that. I don't intend on charging the city for those. But what I do know is that there is a requirement to conduct your business and our citizens' business and to assist the staff. So it's my intent to be here at minimum of 40 hours a week and to also attend those meetings like the Planning Commission and other meetings that are required to carry out the business of the city of Sturgis. So again, if we were to take the 2080, which is a normal hourly 40-hour week, at minimum, that's what I plan on being here, is a minimum of 40 hours a week. I don't believe that the job could adequately cover itself with anything less. Now, I will tell you that as a normal person, my family and I, over Labor Day weekend, we plan on having a family reunion out of state. I'm going to make provisions for that, and I'm going to schedule. And while I'm up here, I might as well tell you that I do have goals for the commission and for myself and for our department heads. One is to assist you in carrying out the business of our citizens' city. The second is to also assist the department heads in whatever their needs are. And I think we do have some pretty competent department heads. And third, I want to help you find your long-term manager. And in today's employment world, that in itself is going to be a challenge. I think you all know what's going on in the employment market today. I think you're aware of the costs. I'm very modest with my salary. I can assure you that if you were to go from state to state, region by region in this state, the Office of City Manager is commanding those salaries that we would expect to be paid years ago in the private sector. That isn't the case today. And so, again, my job with all my gray hair is to help assist you in finding the right manager for the long-term success of Sturgis. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's my intent. That's going to be my approach. I plan on leaving the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, being here at 9 o'clock. No meeting date. I'm going to leave here at 5 o'clock, have a normal life, and on those days that I have meetings, then I'm going to be here. I think that pretty simplifies my intent. I hope that's acceptable to you.
Yeah, I remember your touching on it during our interview, and between that and your answering the question now, I'm satisfied.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. TJ?
I move we approve the temporary employment agreement for interim city manager between the city of Sturgis and Mr. Doug Terry as presented, and authorize Mayor Frank Perez to sign all necessary documents.
So we have a motion?
Support.
And support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next on the agenda is the airport fuel discount. Mr. Andrew Cook.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners. This is a regular request for a fuel discount at the airport as part of the Oshkosh EAA General Aviation Gathering. We provide a discount, try and capture some of the traffic coming to and from that event. Typically, we'd obviously get this in the packet. I apologize with a lot of what was going on. It came to me this week. So, but based on the timing, want to make sure we got it approved today. We've presenting a fuel discount that is consistent with what we've done in the past. In this case, we're recommending a discount of 55 cents off the retail price of 100 low lead fuel, bringing our price to $5.68 per gallon. We'd run that discount from Monday, July 20th until Wednesday, July 29th. That would cover the travel period for the Oshkosh event, which takes place July 21st to July 26th.
Any questions for Andrew?
Mr. Mayor, I move that Sturgis City Commission approve the airport fuel discount for July 20th to July 29th as presented.
So we have a motion
Support.
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So move. Next on the agenda is the commissioner staff comments. So we'll start with Ms. Sadie.
I'm just looking forward to our discussion tomorrow for the budget.
All right. Mr. Rhodes?
Nothing this evening, thanks.
Catherine, you got anything further?
No, thank you.
Patrick? Mr. Terry, you have anything? Anything from our law enforcement? Anything from the media?
Nothing tonight.
TJ?
Nothing tonight, John. Thank you.
City manager?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, just first of all, as always, we had a bit of a different year this year for Sturgis Fest, but wanted to pass on my thanks to all city staff for their efforts, obviously also the Chamber of Commerce for all the work that they do to put that event on for us. But as you know, DPS, police, fire, electric, we have a lot of people that do a lot of things to make that event possible. I think even with the slightly modified terms this year, that was a success once again. So I wanted to say a big thank you to them. Also wanted to mention storm brush pickup that is underway. We're up in kind of the northeast side of town right now, quadrant of town right now. It is slow going. I know there's a lot that's being picked up out of that. So, but crews are hard at work. We'll continue to kind of provide updates on when we're going to move to the next segment of town on the city website and the city's Facebook page. So please be aware of that. And if you do have brush in your yards, please get it out to the curb, because, it just makes things difficult if we clear an area of town and people come by and put stuff out after the fact. So that makes it very difficult. So we're trying to go kind of quadrant by quadrant to give people time to get that out and make sure it's out at the curb for collection as necessary. Lastly, I just want to mention, I believe I passed on to you all, and we had put some media release out related to the hydro dam drawdown, the impoundment behind there. We did receive word from Federal Energy Regulatory Commission allowing us to delay that until September 15th, which was good news. So we'll expect that drawdown to commence September 6th in order to be completed by September 15th. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Evans?
No, I ditto what the service does. I'm well aware of all the work that gets put into that by city staff. And there's not one department I don't think that does not touch that festival. And I guess bottom line is the most important thing is we have an entire community. We have visitors that come that celebrate over those few days. And I always hear positive things about it. It's something good in our community and for visitors. So, and, Patrick, I think if you'd ask some of us, I wouldn't give my right arm to get that, but I might give my left arm to get that grant. So, okay. But when will we go? 15. Thank you. Sorry.
Commissioner Bourne?
Nothing right.
Commissioner Ricky?
Just a small one. I guess maybe a suggestion. I don't know how connected we are with the fireworks. I had multiple people ask me if everyone was okay because of the fireballs at the end, the pyrotechnics. And I was just thinking, if they're going to do it again, maybe put it at the front or middle and maybe not end with it, because once that happened, there were no more fireworks, and so everybody's wondering, is everybody okay?
Just from a timing of the show.
Just a suggestion, maybe put it towards the front or middle.
Yeah, we typically don't have a lot of control over the actual show, how it's designed, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
But we can always make suggestions.
That's it.
And you want to introduce your visitor? So you brought a
That's,
visitor with you?
that's my son.
Oh, that's your son, okay. All right, nice. Commissioner Miller, you got anything? Nothing tonight. Commissioner Bird?
Yes, I've got a question about the FOIA request investigation. Has that been completed and the information turned over to those that requested it?
So we have there were 3 FOIA requests previously. 2 of those were completed in full. The other one is being completed. There was additional information that they needed, and we're reviewing some emails to complete that. So, and then there was one related to the airport that we're still working on, should be completed this week.
So there were 3 for the commissioner's
Mhm.
request
Mhm.
and 3 for the commissioner's chain.
Uh,
Text chain.
There were 3 related to commissioner related texts and that kind of thing. And
Text messages.
one was just for that, and then 2 were just for that, and 1 included emails as well related to that, and so those are still being reviewed. It's quite voluminous. So
nothing's been released then.
no, the text change has all been released.
Just the text.
Yes.
So like the commission text chain, not the commissioner to commissioner.
Just the city manager to the full commission was released.
Okay, city manager and commissioners.
As one
That
full
one was
chain, that was released, yes.
Okay, the last meeting, Mayor Perez and I asked the city attorney if we could get a copy of that report.
We can release that to you. Yeah, I mean, it should be the same thing you have, but we can send to you what was released as part of that response.
Okay.
Okay.
But when was that released for the first request?
Week or so ago.
Okay. I just wondered why it wasn't offered to the commission.
It generally, I mean, FOIA requests generally are just given to the person in FOIA, and if the commission wants them, they can request them via FOIA. I mean, again, there's nothing there. I mean, I think they're all provided. And also too, you got to remember the scope of each request is somewhat different. And so the information that comes in doesn't necessarily meet the request in which they were asking for. So that was the other part of the delay, is going through to make sure that we're being responsive to what's actually being requested, and that there's no information that cannot be released, such as confidential, information and personal identifying information of other individuals.
Yeah, I was referring mostly to the watershed voice request.
Right. I believe that
He is partially, he got the same thing that the other 2 requesters, a commission email, text chain, but his request also included emails, and so there's quite a number of emails that are city related that have to be reviewed before they can be released. And at this point, he would want them all, and so there's a lot of review that's got to.
So when you make a broad request, it casts a wide net, and there is a lot of information in there that, while the words or the terminology may trigger those emails to come out, some of those are basically the packets that went out to all the commissioners and that have a 185-page packet attached to it that they're going to get as part of the request. So that's part of the delay when you have a large request like that. So yeah, and that information doesn't need to be redacted or looked at. I mean, that goes out generally, but some of the stuff we got to try to do the best we can to make sure that if it's an email that has an employee or staff potential information in it, that that's not released.
Okay, well, I was just asking because when I was into my interview for the investigation, I did inquire to the attorney about that. He said that he had received it on the 25th, by the 25th. So I just wondered why we weren't aware of that.
Aware of it, or, I mean, I don't, do you generally tell the commission when you fulfill a FOIA request?
No.
Does the commission usually have a FOIA request?
No, there haven't been many FOIA requests related to commission items, but the way FOIA works is that you are responding to the requester. So again, we're in new territory in terms of if it's related to the commission, that's new. And if the commission would like to see some of that, I don't think that's a real problem, but it's not standard.
Clearly not a problem. I mean, most of the information I believe the commission's already in possession of because it came from the commission. But yeah, I mean, if you want a copy of that, there's nothing preventing the city clerk from getting you a copy of that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Smith?
Today is Savor the Scud Day. Savor the comic, unplug the drama. So just don't be a whiner for the rest of the day and have a laugh about something. Thank you. That's it.
Vice Mayor Mount?
Not to bring things down after that. To piggyback off of Commissioner Burr's comments, I heard city clerk say that the FOIA request had requested anything that was related to commissioners via text message with the city manager involved in those. What about individual commissioners, conversations, that kind of stuff?
Again, I'm going to say, we answer requests that are given.
Yep.
So if a request is given, we examine the documents and some information we have to determine whether we have a document that meets that.
So that was not asked for?
We filled the request that was given to us. So we reviewed the documents that we had provided to us. I believe, generally how it works is a FOIA coordinator through the city, a city employee tasked with that will go through. If they have a question regarding any of those documents, whether or not information can or can't be released, they will consult with the city attorney. There were some redactions that I said, hey, personal information that should not be released that are exempt. We blacked out or blocked out. They had a program that could eliminate that. And so we respond to what is requested.
So,
and simple as that.
So what I'm hearing, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to ask you, what was requested then in your determination, or whoever's determination was that nobody had requested specifically to see any conversations between commissioners individually. Is that what I'm hearing?
That, again, the requests were for specific type of communications, not necessarily between certain individuals. Does that make sense?
That was.
I turned everything.
Well, I know we did, but I'm just asking.
Right. And so we will always gather as much as we can to be able to respond to a FOIA request. However,
I'm not talking about what was provided. I'm talking about
then
given.
then I certainly and other city staff will consult with the city attorney to determine, is this appropriate to turn over as a response to the FOIA request?
Again, I'll ask the question. I'll ask it simply if I can. If it feels like I'm being misunderstood here. The question I'm asking is, there was a FOIA request for communications between commissioners. There have been communications between commissioners and group text with the city manager involved. There have been communications between commissioners X and Y, one-on-one. Were those not supplied?
If they were not supplied, it's because the content did not meet the request. So what I mean by that
that's a
is,
no.
again, I'm assuming that no. So if they were not presented, it meant, so if anything was not turned over, it was either number one, exempt, or number two, the content in the material didn't meet the request that was being asked for. So just because for instance, yourself and Commissioner Wiki talk back and forth, if there's nothing in there that's identifiably about the commission, those are private text messages between two people who happen to sit on the commission. Does that make sense? So that is not. If it is directly relating to commission business and the request happens to identify the content of that communication, then yes, that would have been turned over. So if you're talking about a water project or something unrelated and the request did not touch on that, then no, that would not have been turned over because that would be a non-responsive response to that FOIA request.
So if there was a small chain and it were me sending it out to 3 other commissioners saying, hey, let's go meet for pizza at so-and-so, that's not what we're talking about then?
Correct. Again, FOIA is construed based on the actual request presented. You do not attempt to infer or read the mind of the person requesting, because that's where either that you start making mistakes in providing things you shouldn't, or you're non-responsive to what they're actually asking for. So when you present a FOIA request, generally try to be as specific as possible what you're looking for. So we can identify those records and present them.
So to answer my question, I'll answer it myself then. Everything that was between the group was provided. Anything that was individual commissioners, there was nothing between individuals that wasn't part of the group that was used.
I don't know that part of it. I
don't
cannot
know.
release that, but I will say that the quote unquote group text or commissioner string was identified specifically in the request for that string of communication.
Okay.
And based on it generated from kind of the city manager, that was easily determined to be, or not involved, determined to be part of city records. So,
okay,
it gets very
I see.
muddy when you're talking about private citizens, private devices, and communication that has nothing to do with their job as commissioners, but other than just maybe communicating about other things. I mean, I don't see how that is FOIA. That doesn't meet the criteria. If it were a city device, so let's say all of you had a city cell phone or your city emails, that's different because those are city authorized and run through a city account. So again, we did the best we could. I know city staff worked very hard and spent a lot of time going through emails, and I looked at a lot of those, and we did the best. Are we infallible? No, but we did the best we could to try to meet the request that was presented to us.
And it's very much appreciated. Thank you. So, I'm not.
No, you're fine.
I'm just asking what was specifically
You're good.
given, and I still haven't. I think I have an understanding, but it's as clear as mud.
Well, I mean, I guess Ken may be able to provide at some later.
Yeah,
date exactly what was provided.
I think it was determined that individual commissioner communications were not responsive to the FOIA request as it was written.
Interesting. Okay. One of the FOIA requests was from a gentleman concerning the airport. We were supposed to have a work session on some stuff like this. When is that planned, or is that?
We have been trying to get that scheduled with his schedule also. And at this point, dates that I've talked with him will put us out into August. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Another Canfield. I'm sure we're with Jeff there. On that, right? Are we through with the round of interviews?
I think I have nothing to do with the actual, all my office is doing is assisting in coordination. I had to be interviewed, no different than everybody else per the resolution. So I know that there was, my office was, I believe, contacted somebody on the staff to try to coordinate additional interviews today. So beyond that, you know as much as I do about.
Okay, so there's
some
requests for additional interviews.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I really wanted to know is where we were at. So that's telling me that. Thank you.
Yep.
Tonight, Mr. Terry, thank you for being here, and I'm gonna be as respectful as I can to you because I appreciate you, and I think you're gonna do a fantastic job as our interim city manager. But I must say that I'm looking at everything that we've discussed tonight. We're talking about the agreement between us and the interim city manager. We've already discussed several weeks ago the separation agreement with our current city manager, who is very much willing and capable and able to perform the job that he's been doing for quite some time. And I'm looking at what this is costing the city. And presuming it goes 12 months at 40 hours a week, we're talking $170,000+ for interim city manager. We also, in a separation agreement, are paying our city manager a 12-month salary as well on top of that.
And benefits.
With benefits. We're also going to have to hire a firm, which is going to cost tens of more thousands of dollars. Added up, we're talking 170. Let's call it on the low side, 300. Plus the money that we're going to be spending, the taxpayer money that we're going to be spending on hiring a firm to search for the next city manager. And those are just the tangible numbers that are right in front of us. We shouldn't be here in this spot. And it disappoints me that we are, because Andrew is very much capable of doing his job. And Mr. Terry, I know that you're going to do a fantastic job, but I want you to know how good of an individual we have at city manager right now and the person you're replacing. And if you can do 3/4 as good a job as he does, I'm gonna be very happy with you. That's how much I respect and like working with Andrew. And I'm very, very disappointed that he's leaving. And I'm very, very sad that we're in the position that we're in, that made him make the decision to walk away. I'll leave it at that. You mentioned the word finding ourselves a competent city manager as part of your job. And I seriously, I know that you will. I have every belief that you are who you say you are, and you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So I very much appreciate that. But we did have a competent city manager sitting amongst us who is now leaving, and that disappoints me. So I'll leave it with this. Real courage is staying kind, even when life isn't. So let's all be kind to one another.
All right, that pretty much concludes our meeting tonight. Mr. Terry, thank you for being here tonight. Look forward to working with you. I'd like to piggyback on what Andrew, our city manager, said about Sturgis Fest. I think we had a great week, even though we had some challenges with storms that affected us. And I can tell you our staff did amazing trying to help us and guide us through Sturgis Fest. I don't think we had many issues during Sturgis Fest, but it was still a great week, even though we had all the challenges that we had the weeks leading to it. So with that, look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our budget meeting at 5 o'clock. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your work week. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.